Alright, so if you're got a Kawasaki ZH2, I'm going to go over some of the information that you can see on your display. So you actually have two types of displays. You have the sport, I guess, track mode display. This display. So this is type 1, standard display. Then you have the type 2, which is the racetrack display. So we'll start with this type 1. Top left, you'll have your sport. That's the mode you're in. Then you have your gears, which is 1 through 6. Show your RPMs, and it will flash, and you can adjust the flashing of the RPMs for the shift light. You have your fuel gauge. You have a max lean angle, which changes. So let's see, on my left side, the max I leaned was 52 degrees. So it'll stay at 52 until I exceed that. Basically showing you your max that you've reached. Then you have this boost temperature. I leave it on boost temperature because I'd like to know if I'm, getting temperatures getting too high, 150, 160 degrees. I kind of take it easy. You got your clock, your outside ambient temperature, and then you have your range. If you hit your reset button, it changes from dark to white. This center button on this left side of controls, it's going to change that box right there where the boost is at. So you got boost 100%, you got the engine temperature, your boost temperature. So you can see what your boost, as you give it a throttle, how much boost percentage you're giving it versus the engine temperature and your boost temperature. Then if you hit your mode down button, you can change this bottom box where you have your average speed, your total time of riding, your battery voltage. So you have your miles per gallon, which is your current, which is active miles per gallon. You have your average, since you reset it, what your miles per gallon is. You have your range, which is left in the tank. Then you have your average speed, total time. So now if you hit the up mode, you're going to change this top box. So you have max lean, you have your odometer, you have your trip 1, your trip 2, which is A and B, and then you have an active lean, which shows you actively where it's leaning. So if you lean to the left, it kind of goes to the left. If you straighten the center up, it goes to the center. I'll add a little video here of me using the lean. You hit it again, and you go back to their max lean. That's really it. The KQS is the quick shifter is turned on. So if you want to go to, say, type 2 or to your options, you'd hold down the select button, and it's going to take you into the menu. So in the menu, you have vehicle settings, display, date and clock, service, Bluetooth, and units. And you use your mode to go down through them and up through them. And then you use your select button to select it. So if we go to display and hit the select button, so now we have our mode, type 1, type 2. Hit select. Now we're going to hit the reset button to back out. And you can also adjust the brightness if you want it not as bright. And we're going to back out. So now this is the sport mode, type 2. This one you have this little window on the side. And you lose your temperature. So you lose your temperature and you lose like your average miles per gallon, how much range you got in your tank. So you lose some of those features because it's trying to say that, hey, I'm in sport mode. I want to ride hard. All right, so you got your gear indicator. You got your throttle, or this can also be changed. And you have your G-force. That's what I believe that is. So when you accelerate, that little blue bar moves back to show your acceleration. And when you brake, it moves forward to show your braking. And the farther it moves forward, the more G's you're pushing. The farther it moves back, the more G's you're pulling. And of course, you have your fuel. So now if we hit the same buttons, we hit the mode down button. So now this turns into your brake. So as you pull the brake, it's going to show how much brake you're using. All right, and we hit that again. It goes to boost. So now it's going to show you how much boost that you're boosting. So the more throttle you have, the more boost you're boosting, right? So just boost. Then you have your throttle, and that's how much your throttle's open. I leave mine on throttle because I want to know what throttle I'm giving it. I don't really care about the boost. I just care what my throttle is. All right, so now if we push the up on the mode, now we're going to change this top bar here. So we got odometer, trip A, trip B, and max lean. That's it. Now this bottom one where it shows your active lean, that will stay active. You can't change that. There's nothing you can do to change that. Now if we hit the center button here, we can change this little window here and do the boost percentage, temperature, and boost temperature. That's it. You can't change anything else. So it's fun to leave this on there, but if you're doing some brisk riding and you leave this on, that's fine. If you want to know how many miles per gallon or how much miles you got to your, you're just cruising, then you can do mode 1, or type 1. So if we go to vehicle settings, so I hold that down, I select the vehicle settings. So now we have the shift lamp. So you can have it on or off. You can change at what time the lamp is going to flash, which is your RPMs. So I got mine set at 10,000. You have your quick shifter. You can turn that on and off if you don't want to use your up and down quick shifter. And then rider mode. Rider mode is a custom mode that you can customize, which we'll go over that. So like if we go down to, so these are basically just on and offs, right? So you click it, you turn it on and off. That's all you do. All right, so we're going to hit the reset button to back out. So we just went over display, date and time. It's self-explanatory. You got the date and time. Change the date and time. All right, we got service. So this is when you can, it'll give you a little tool mark or a little wrench when you need to do a service to your bike. So I just did an oil change and I got it on, and so next year and at that many miles I want to do another oil change. Rider settings is just to remind you to change rider settings or adjust rider settings in so many miles. I usually leave that off. All right, Bluetooth is, you can Bluetooth your phone. There is an app, and then units. You can change, kilometers and miles. And that's really it with that. So those are the basic settings. So next we'll show some of the modes. So on the Kawasaki ZH2, the 2020, I think all the way up to 2024, I'm not sure about anything newer than that, you have a couple modes. So you have rider mode, rain mode, as you can see right here it's changing, road mode, sport mode. So to go through the modes, you're pushing up on the mode or down on the mode. The bike's throttle has to be closed to do this. So you could be going down the road, as long as the throttle's got to be closed, and you hold it for about 5 seconds and it switches mode. All right, so if you see here in rider mode, you got power and Kawasaki's traction control. All right, so you hit the select button and you can come in here and change them. So you hit select again on power mode. So I can say power mode, full, mid, and low. So low is 50%, mid is 75%, full is 100% power. If you move down to traction control, you got same thing, 3 levels, but you have an off. So 1 is, it does the least amount of interference with traction control. So you can do like a foot wheelie. It tries to not intervene as much. Then you have 2, which maybe might give you a couple inch wheelie and interferes more. 3 won't let you get a wheelie at all, really intrusive. And then you have off, which is full balls to the wall, full beans. So if you look at rain mode is pretty much this. It's power levels low, which is 50%, traction control is 3. So very little power and traction control 3. So no wheelies, no slip, none of that. Now, I want to say the Z900 kind of feels like when I put this on, if I put this on power mode low and traction control 2, to me that's what the Z900 feels like compared to this. It feels like, the Z900 feels like rain mode on this motorcycle. It's really insane. So if you go to road mode, now road mode is this. Road mode is full power, but traction control is 2. So that's what road mode is. So you get full power of the bike, but you get little bitty wheelies, and you can't really skid, brake traction at all. So the only 2 modes that you can do on this bike that is not including in the preset modes, like sport mode, road mode, and raid mode. The only mode you can do through rider mode that's different is using mid mode. Mid mode is 75% power, and none of the modes has 75% power. So you could set 75% power and do different traction control levels. So if you want a little bit more than rain mode, but not quite full power and no wheelies, then you can go 2 or 3. Now you could also turn it off. You go, all right, I want traction control off, and I want full power. Gotta be careful. You're gonna loop the bike very fast. Then you can say, or I want, 75% power, middle, and you got less power. Or you can do low power, traction control off. Maybe if you want to play with wheelies and you don't want something super aggressive, you could try this in low or in medium mode. So I'm going to put it back to full traction control 1. All right, so you can see it's in rider mode. You can see here it's telling me what I got turned on. It's power and traction control. If you don't want that there and you want back what you already had, like the options of the miles and stuff, you just hold the reset button and it will take that away. I do believe every time you start the bike you have to do that, because it'll pop up letting you know that you're in rider mode. So you could set rider mode to have 0 traction control, and so if you want to play around with it and you do something else, you can, so that way you don't have to go through all those settings. Cruise control is really kind of easy. So when you're going down the road, you push in this middle button, cruise control turns on. On the dash, you will get a little speedometer symbol. And then you have up to resume, down to set. So you push down, it sets it to whatever your miles are. It'll pop up the miles for you on the screen. And then you tap up or down to go up by 1 mile increments. Touching the brake, rear brake, front brake, disengages cruise control. Giving it some throttle just makes you go faster, and when you come off, it still has cruise control. The only way to disengage it is by touching the brakes or hitting the cruise control button. And that's it. Please like and subscribe, and leave me a comment below. Let me know what you want to see. Is there anything you want to see about the ZH2? I'll see y'all in the next video. Ride safe.